Greetings, my fellow freelance shopping seekers. LL3's News Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. And today's date is Sunday, August 12th, 2018. Of course, I was going to be talking about the first anniversary of the horrific event that happened in Charlottesville. Some of them call it the white supremacist rally and all that, propaganda matrix. And of course, it's Jorge Soros' birthday. The Jew hunter. Nazi sympathizing Jew hunter, to be exact. And I'm at the Floridian, which is in Los Angeles Boulevard, southwest corner of 15th Avenue, Southwest 15th Avenue in Los Angeles. You got some characters that come here now and then. And it looks like someone can't find the bathroom. Oh well. Assumptionaholics Anonymous. I just love it here at times. You get a bunch of interesting folks. You don't even know about. I'm not even gonna sweat it. I can't. I've been coming here a good period of time, now and then, and I just get a big kick out of some of the people that show up. You know, the daytime isn't too bad. The night you got a bunch of folks, characters out here. So a little bit mellowed right now. That's why I decided not to play the intro music, but rather just keep it basic. And I'm talking a few topics here. And I was like checking on this one article that came from the Hill about cops break window, drag couple outside, drag couple from car and wrongfully accuse them for not wearing a seatbelt. And of course, they don't know the whole entire story. But everyone it's funny about the comments. You got a bunch of apple polishing geeks out there. Oh, they should just obey them. They're one of those people like, if the cops have been over, you go, oh, how far, please, sir? Yeah. However, I never try to jump the gun, but when I read this article, it's pretty interesting from Matt Agris. And we'll be talking about this here, about the New Mexican police ordeal. And you can see the photo of this. It says here, disturbing video captures the moment a police break a window in a vehicle and drag a couple out after allegedly wrongfully accusing them of a seatbelt violation. It's at Taos, New Mexico. Interesting, because that's when they had in Taos. It happened in the same area or county or town that they found those kids that are being abducted. So, possible Orion Project, victim of the Orion Project. But I'll continue on here. It says, extremely disturbing video was shared with Free Thought Project this week, highlighting the level of force and violence will go in order to enforce a citation over an alleged seatbelt violation. What's more, according to the victims of the brutal use of force, they had their seatbelts and were falsely accused. The video is self-explanatory. I'll continue on here. Anthony Page and his friend Angela Fisher Herrera were harming no one, had committed no crime, and were simply traveling down the road last February to do some shopping at a local Walmart. I hate that place. Ugh. During their trip, however, they were targeted for extortion by a New Mexico state trooper identified as Angela as Officer Cabanas. When Cabanas approached the vehicle, Anthony rolls down 2 inches, which is entirely legal as long as the officer and the vehicle operator can hear each other. Cabanas, however, immediately tells Anthony to roll it all the way down, to which Anthony politely reply, "No, thank you." Likely due to the fact that Anthony refused to roll his window all the way down, Cabanas, according to Angela, they demanded Anthony exit the vehicle. Again, Anthony politely refused. In a statement to the Free Thought Project, Angela explained that the trooper then told him he stopped them for not wearing their seatbelts. However, according to Angela, they always had them on. And it's a Mexican law, as a state in New Mexico too, New Mexican state law. So New Mexico law. So it is pretty obvious. I have family out there. I know this for sure. Cabanas continues by asking for Tony's license and registration, while we are telling him we have been wearing our seatbelts and that we were recording. He tells us that he has us on his camera not wearing our seatbelts. We tell him that's a lie, and we want access to that footage. To which he responds, "Not right now. We can argue that in court." Okay, to an extent, he may have some right on that. So we'll just. But the whole thing is, I wouldn't say he lied. I'd probably say tell us to say it in the courtroom. Yeah, something you gotta learn. I'm not, defending the cops' actions either. Okay, on this, but by Dale Carson had a book called "Rest Proof Yourself." He said the cops own the streets, how technically, to an extent, but the courtroom is the open battlefield. And you can really call out these individuals who are, you could say, rogue, based on the video I've seen here. I'll continue on here. Fearing that they may become victims of police brutality, Angela called 911 to request another officer. I finally called 911 because, as far as I know, we don't have to exit the vehicle like he has ordered the driver to do. We are on an unpopulated street with a hostile officer and no witnesses on our behalf, Angela said. According to Angela, 911 dispatch directed the pair to not say anything, so they listened. Finally, other officers from the 911 call arrived, but the situation then went from bad to worse. Are those officers beginning to try to force their way into the vehicle as well? Remember, this entire stop was over an alleged seat belt violation. Only a few minutes in, this otherwise entirely innocent couple was surrounded by cops wanting them to do them harm. After a few minutes pass, Angela explains that dispatch continues to tell them to remain silent. However, according to Angela, by this time the supervisor on the scene was even trying to break into the car. Angela shared the video of their car with TFTP, which indicates that they may have been victims of profiling, as their vehicles was covered on all sides, peaceful anti-war and anti-tyranny stickers. Oh my God, how obscene! According to Angela, the entire interaction was captured on video and proved that they had their seatbelts on. Angela explains that they were keeping the full video to present at their trial. However, 10 minutes had passed. That's when Angela pulled out of her phone and began recording the video below. As the video shows, Antony and Angela are entirely peaceful and are passively resisting. However, unable to wait any longer, one of the officers grabs the window with his bare hands and shatter it. How unique, how manly, right? Absolutely. He then reaches in and grabs Tony's arms, and Angela pleads with them not to break him. 3 cops pull Tony from the vehicle and slamming him on the ground and shouting him to get on the ground. And you are under goddamn arrest during this assault. And Tony was not resisting, according to Angela. And I've seen the video too, and I can say that. Another officer then reaches in and attempts to grab Angela's camera, at which point she says she turned it off and threw it in the back seat. According to Angela, she was then dragged from the car, thrown to the ground, and placed under arrest as well. Hooray! New Mexico State finest. Bend over, have a donut. After a couple was arrested, they fought the charges. When they went to court, the judge dismissed the case as the arresting officer failed to show up. I wonder why. However, after finding out the case was dismissed, according to Angela, the same cop brought the charges against them again, and a warrant was issued for their arrest. This guy's on the climactic mode, I would say, right? Angela tells FTFTP that they are planning to fight these charges in hopes that they can help to change the way these officers are trained to prevent further violent interactions like this one. Free Thought Project attempted to get a New Mexico police state version of this incident. However, it has been 3 days, and yet we yet to receive response. As the video illustrates, in the land of the free, and you can and will be stopped by those claim who to keep society safe, dragged from your car, kidnapped and caged, all for being accused of not wearing your seatbelt. This is shameful indeed. If you like to peacefully voice your concern of what you see in the video below, you can do so on the New Mexico State Police Facebook page here. You can click it, tell them how to feel, have a bunch of goons in your possession that could pull people out for allegedly not wearing a seatbelt. If they were evading you and all that, is a whole different ball game. But they were being peaceable. So let's show their true courage and authority, that they are powerful than these folks. They're nothing more than peasants. That is from the land of enchantment. That's just a prime example, my friends. And I was looking at the one video from The Hill talked about this as well, and it's interesting what the police chief has to say about it. I'm gonna try to get that. I should have had this up here originally, but it's, I can say it's very damn appropriate. But let's just see here. All right, let me see here. What the Washington Standard has to say about this? Let's find out. Yeah, so Washington Standard's pretty almost the same thing, I would say. 122 views, of course. Look at they all interact here. Yeah, look at they all interact. I'm gonna stop. But yes, very, very similar indeed. Washington Standard has this out, and the video's out here too. Article of permission, so that's good. But it's a real big turnoff. He said, but the police chief, I'm correct, the police chief claimed that they were in the right for taking them out. Tells you about the land of Bizarro. Indeed. So, but that state has interesting, very interesting indeed. I mean, how their mind sits over there. When I was in that in Albuquerque, he's still talking about that one homeless guy they shot for camping. Oh, don't break the law! Don't break the law! But the funny thing about the activists out there, they're making a statement about the people's. It should be the people's city, the people's meeting, and it's fun because they actually had a warrant for the police chief's arrest. He just walked out. He was like so wound up. I think it was hilarious. They like sometimes you got these individuals that love dishing out but hate receiving. When people fight back, but something like this, I'm gonna expect is gonna blow back in their faces for sure. This is completely unacceptable, and it's really, I just like scratch my head. I really it really mind boggles me when I observe this. And let's just see let's check on this Facebook page here on this ordeal. I may get it. I'll find out. I'm gonna be pretty. I'm not gonna get really too keen on this because I probably will be a real SOB and call out these clowns and show me true manlyhood. How they feel having Bizarro as your Lord and Savior. That's one of the things I would have addressed to them. So let me just see here. National Night Out. Yeah, so let's gotta see what they got here. Come on. Yeah, so yeah, you know what? It's like sometimes you gotta read what these people have to say. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. Okay, cool. I got the. I found it. Hey. So let's see what I can do here. Oh, great. Yeah, I like that. It's like you got it, and you get this confounded blank dilly dally here. All right, like it says right here about told. Of course, it was in the Albuquerque Journal, but we know sometimes they get pretty accurate. That's what Police Chief Casetas has to say in the paper. I'm standing by my officers. At some point, after a certain amount of time of non-compliance, something has to happen. We didn't break the window and drag him out of the car because he didn't have a seatbelt on. The police chief continued. He got to remove the vehicle forcefully because he didn't comply. It's like giving this guy a big penile microphone, as far as I'm concerned. Good grief, the guy likes to mumble, huh? According to the video, it's totally different. So he needs to wear a muzzle, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, so that's what he has to say. And let me see here. So that's what happened, and I was just doing everything within my rights. The window breaking, Page told the Journal. Occurred after his refusal to open up the door for the officer. At the point, we were very concerned. He's not acting like a cop, Page said. He could have been calmer. So the whole thing is this. So it's okay to rip the glass unnecessarily because of alleged seatbelt violation, which according to the video never happened. So I will defend my officers. One of them, they're a bunch of effing liars. Congratulations. How does it feel to be corrupt? Police Chief Casetas. Very corrupt indeed. Is it true that possibly you and Scott Israel both wore his and his towels, allegedly? It's real. That's why it's so damn pathetic. And you got people believe they're above everybody else. That's a terrible message, and I find this very unacceptable. And I guarantee you one thing. It will blow back in your faces. Mark my words on that. So I could be ranting on this all day. The whole thing, his rhetoric, as far as I'm concerned, null and void. I will wipe my rear end with it. With you, so I'm going to keep that. You can read it for yourselves. So the next one come on here from Facebook. Freedom Outpost. Getting ready to fall asleep. Sorry about that. And it says here, Facebook censors Benghazi hero after he is interviewed by InfoWarriors. This is about once a free society, this is becoming more Orwellian with each passing day. Now that they have come for Alex Jones, they aren't going to stop. It may not be tomorrow, but eventually they're going to come for you. This is by Tim Brown. John Tigtagan is one of the heroes of Benghazi on September 11th, 2012. He's been vocal about what took place in both public arena and in the book 13 Hours, which made into a major motion picture, and how the Obama administration let everyone down. However, it was not until he went on InfoWars recently for an interview did he find himself under the censor of Nazis of Facebook. Here's a full interview that took place. Found a few. This is all on video. You could definitely check this out yourself on the shoot. So please, I recommend everyone to check it out. So, Bob will continue on here. Following the interview, Tegan tweeted, since I went on Infowars.com at David Knight Infowars, Facebook deleted a video of my 6-year-old shooting because it showed graphic violence that I got booted off all my social media and had to log back and prove it was me, and now I didn't even exist anymore, according to Google. Since I went on Infowars.com, David Knight, as because same thing on a Twitter page, very similar. All this week, the news has been flooded with the report on Google, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, putting Infowars and Alex Jones from its platform, presumably in an effort to shut down the talk show host from gaining more momentum as the midterm elections approach. This is nothing short of election meddling. This is not just free speech censorship, Michael Snyder explained. After all the uproar about election interference, now the big tech companies are overtly doing it very publicly in a way that nobody can misunderstand. The biggest reason why they are lashing out at Alex Jones, Mike Adams, and a host of other top conservative voices is because Donald Trump would never have gotten elected without them. I guess they figure it out if they can start silencing some of those voices that they can turn future elections in their favor. If it was just few conservative voices that were being censored, that would be one thing. But the truth is that hundreds and hundreds of conservatives have had Facebook pages taken down, YouTube accounts terminated, and the Twitter accounts shadow banned. In the end, it is not about Alex Jones. It's about once a free society that's becoming more Orwellian with each passing day. Whether you like Alex Jones and Infowars or not is irrelevant to the technocratic tyranny of the Silicon Valley despots. Make no mistake, the war on Infowars is the war on us all, and John Tegan is learning that, and it will only get worse, Matt Aragus explains. Alex Jones' rhetoric, whether hateful or not, deserves his platform like everyone else. The ideas in the controversial realm fight for themselves. Racism, bigotry, sexism, these things are dying out, not because some corporate overlord with massive influence over the flow of information wiped them out, but because they are debated in the public sphere, and those who held them were shown to be the idiots that they are. When everyone is told what to think and ideas, even racist and vitriolic ones, are kept from them, everyone becomes an idiot, completely dependent on the system of censorship to tell them what to think. A dangerous, slippery slope indeed. Alex Jones has become the first unperson in this war on information. It's time to start paying attention before we all experience a similar fate. Furthermore, do you know who they are coming after? The ones they think they have toppled Jones? That's right, every other voice of opposition out there, including mine and yours. That is true. So, this time I'm critical of Alex Jones' exhibition and sometimes his rhetoric as well, but doesn't mean he's always incorrect or fully disagree with them. A lot of times he can use sensationalism and over-exaggeration, and that's just him. But I just focus more on the input he's addressing and verify on my own free will. I'm not going to just listen to one person and tell me everything. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Is to me, then you become a fool as well. And that's what the Rachel Maddow crowd likes to do, and the other clowns. They want you to say, "This is how we." Okay, yeah, makes a lot of sense. It doesn't go that way. So that's why I'd be very sincere if they shut him down. Because I say one thing, they shut him down for sure. They did. The reason, he's making waves, regardless. Like what's his name? Oh man, Mr. Swan said that the best. That he's a human lightning rod. So you have to always see it that way. And that's how I look at it. Don't worry, I'm not a Trump worshiper either. But it's like, hey, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. If I'm critical towards anyone, or a politician, yeah, I'm going to have merit. I'm going to have my reasons with back up with facts. Nothing wrong with that at all. But this is totally, I censor this with a passion. And I'm not the only one. There's people who are not Alex Jones supporters at all, and they find this very disturbing. So trust me on that. There's some activists out there I know I'm very good ties with. Says no. We have to stand by them on principle. I'm like, there you go. I'm the same way. I'll guarantee you one thing. I agree with Jeff Chadwick said from the Dollar Vigilante. What Facebook's doing, they'll be like MySpace, in the dust. Because there's a lot of other great decentralized social media sites out there. OneWay.com, Minds.com, Steemit. I haven't been there yet, but I'm going to check it out. Gab.ai. So there's so many other great decentralized social media sites out there. You don't need Facebook. They need us. Without us, they're nothing. And we all know, too, that they are being funded. They have federal funding. Facebook and Twitter have federal funding. So your tax dollars at work. Can we say in the word in unison? Extortion? Something to think about, right? Absolutely. So, next one here. Hey, buddy. All right. All right, so the next one here came from the Freedom Outpost. And if I'm correct, this came out a little bit yesterday. No, actually, yeah, by Tim Brown. Again, FBI agent accused of lying in LaVoy Finicum shooting found not guilty. There's still a time to at least bring the truth to light through the wrongful death lawsuit. FBI Special Agent Joseph Adisterida was found not guilty after 3 weeks trial in which he was accused of obstructing justice and making false statements in the shooting of LaVoy Finicum on January 26, 2016. I had no indication I had fired. I didn't hear it, feel it, see it that day. That's what I told jurors this week. Oregon Public Broadcasting reported at least less than a day of deliberation. Jury of 9 men and 3 women found FBI Special Agent Joseph Adisterida not guilty of lying about a high-profile police shooting during the 2016 Mahler National Wildlife Refuge occupation. Investigators said law enforcement fired a total of 8 shots at the roadblock, while all were deemed justified. Adisterida's 3-week trial revolved around two of them. Even Adisterida's acquittal, it was still uncertain who actually took those 2 shots. The verdict leaves several open questions about a pivotal moment in the 2016 occupation. I am disappointed that we're not going to come to a resolution as to where those shots came from, said former FBI Special Agent in charge Greg Britzing, who saw the agency's response to the occupation and approved of the January 26, 2016 operation to arrest the leaders. I believe that the jury made an informed decision based on all the evidence that was presented to it. That was a little Conrad Wilson tweet. New York Times added, but the jurors in the federal district court concluded that Mr. Adisterida, 41, a 13-year veteran with the FBI and a member of his elite hostage rescue team, was not the one who fired the mysterious shots. Decision only deepened the mystery that has surrounded the unexplained shots and has been topic of an intense debate among law enforcement officials, conspiracy theorists, and militia supporters ever since the confrontation along a snowy, tree-lined rural road in central Oregon. The verdict was seen as a victory for the rescue team, whose members said they felt besieged by the charges against Mr. Adisterida. Teammates who had supported Mr. Adisterida, believing he never fired the shots, expressed relief at the outcome, and for the FBI, the acquittal was rare public exoneration in face of relentless attacks by President Trump and his conservative allies. For federal prosecutors, the decision was only the latest disappointment in efforts to obtain significant convictions and trials of leaders or participants in the takeover of the Mahler National Wildlife Refuge. Sorry, I just started laughing. Looks like someone's trying to get out, but the door is locked. He's highly intoxicated. The entire case should have blown wide open with opening testimony by former special agent in charge, Greg Brestving, when it was revealed that the government was involved into multiple pretty violations concerning his trial. That became something of a question for me as to how they might get their sniper off the hook for that which he stood accused. The fact that the FBI does not account for all the rounds its agents fire should be concerning anyone and everyone. Even more disturbing is the fact that the FBI didn't want body cam footage from Oregon State troopers. What is the point of a body cam if you can turn them on and off at will? How special are the FBI? Exceptional, right? J. Edgar Hoover will be extremely proud, the Nazi sympathizing pig that he was. While Brestving claims that they made an informed decision based on all the evidence, can we be sure they were actually provided all the evidence? I think not. In fact, Sherry DeVal, who attended and reported the trial, wrote about the FBI's handling of the crime scene after approximately 1 week of testimony. One of the biggest messages I walk away with is that the FBI treated the crime scene, where LaVoy was shot and killed, much differently than they had been taught and trained to. They walked all over the crime scene, picking up pieces of potential evidence, ordered Oregon State Police to turn off their body cameras, and refused to give individual statements to the criminal investigator assigned to learn the truth about the events leading up to the shooting of my husband. I wonder quietly how many of us would have been allowed to write our own rules. Not any one of us would be allowed to throw out the rule book without explanation or reason. The family of LaVoy Finicum has already filed a wrongful death lawsuit, which is quite expensive. Finicum's widow, Jeanette, spoke about what's been going on. They'd be facing enormous legal costs associated with the lawsuit. Something as a service I provide can save substantially on. And if you want to be able to make a donation, purchase a book, t-shirt, or pocket constitution will be greatly offset costs of the opposing dozens of individuals and retaining several expert witnesses. It's obvious that someone is covering something up. How does the FBI not know who fired shots and who didn't fire shots? It's abundantly clear that Finicum exited his truck. At least 2 shots can be heard hitting the truck. Take a look and listen. Nice seeing the video for you from the Oregonian, and I'm not gonna say any more on that. Sorry. And though there were 8 shots fired at the scene, only 2 shell casings were recovered. Give me a break. That's quite convenient, isn't it? Defense lawyers Robert Carey, based in Washington, D.C., and Portland defense attorney lawyer David Angeli called Asteria a hero who puts his life on the line for his country every day. We are grateful to the men and women of the jury who saw through the case that never should have been brought, they said in a statement. Joe Asteria is innocent, and it was our privilege and honor to represent him. Blasphemy is the word. You got enemies. Okay, he's your enemy one of the enemies of freedom, America. That man himself. And of course, David Angeli. Look for Asteria to follow in the footsteps of Lon Hurikushi, an FBI HRT sniper and former U.S. Army officer who shot unarmed Vicky Weaver in the head while she ran inside with a baby in her arms at Ruby Ridge. He was later promoted. So if you're corrupt murdering piece of garbage, they'll give you the red carpet treatment. There's still time to at least bring the truth to light through the wrongful death suit. Won't you help? So if you please, folks, do it. Give these folks a hand, because we got to expose these sons of bitches that they are. Be very frank, I agree one thing for sure. The FBI has to be abolished. It's filled with Nazified propagandist agenda. And I'm not saying everyone in the FBI are wicked individuals, but it is a big cesspool since J. Edgar Hoover was running it. And they kept the tyrannical tradition for after his death. How astute. Because even if you go to IHateTheFBI.com, they'll give you a list of political prisoners under the Jubilee 1776 site. And the stuff I read, I'm like blown away. The mainstream media, the prostitutes that they are, they'll give you all these lies, garbage propaganda, and want you to believe it. They're the same asswipes that say they attack us on 9/11 because of our freedoms. When are you folks going to learn? I'm not saying everyone on my show who listens aren't waking up. No way in hell. But generally speaking, you still got a bunch of fools out there with a belly up for the government. Go, it's great to be belly up to the state is patriotic. Truth, justice, and the goody two-shoes way makes me an honorable person. This is why I'm a real prick. Vigilant prick. Excuse my language. When it comes to his government. Been saying this for a long time. Remain vigilant. Trying to be mavericks, not parrots. Plain and simple. Hearing some cool little music in the background. I like it. Well, thank you, Tim Brown. All right, let's do one more here. It's actually from Eric Margolis. Pushing Iran will cost a fortune. Came out on the 11th. It was on Lou Rockwell's website. Good stuff. Lou Rockwell's always been on target in a lot of areas. And I'm getting ready to fall asleep here, my friends. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Alright, got one more here. We'll continue on. And of course, Pushing Iran Will Cost a Fortune by Eric Margolis off of LouRockwell.com. As it reads here, President Trump keeps vowing to create more jobs in America, but his actions often speak differently. The most egregious example was Trump's cancellation of the multinational Iran nuclear treaty, which has been welcomed by the world as a major step to Mid-East denuclearization. And to be very frank, it was ruled unconstitutional because it does breach Article 6. I'm not saying it's a bad thing either, but you got to go through the right remedies. In abrogating the international treaty signed by the U.S., Britain, France, Germany, Russia, and China, the U.S. humiliated its allies and rivals who are strongly in favor of the accord. Iran already handed 97% of its enriched uranium to Russia, shut down reactors and centrifuges, and allowed UN inspectors to run all over its nuclear facilities when Trump tore up the deal that had been under negotiation since 2015. Iran has been under a harsh U.S.-led trade embargo since its 1979 revolution that was designed to cripple its economy and military and drive people to rebel against their government. Washington used the same tactics without success against Saddam Hussein's Iraq and Fidel Castro's Cuba. So intense is the Trump administration's hatred for Islamic Iran that had decided to scrap the multinational nuclear deal that would have meant opening Iran to a Western commerce and a bonanza of U.S. and European companies. The key element of the deal was to have been the sale of some 210 commercial jet airliners to Iran by the U.S. and the European Union, a deal worth some $40-50 billion, not counting future sales of spare parts. The U.S. embargo of Iran since 1979 had been unable to modernize its commercial airline fleet. Iran was denied modern aircraft, spare parts, engines, and instruments, leaving it with decaying aircraft in the 1970s. The grim result of the U.S.-imposed embargo had been 17 crashes of Iranian civilian aircraft with 1,500 deaths. Most of Iran's commercial aircraft, a grab bag of old, mostly 25-year-old Boeing, Airbus, Chinese, and Soviet aircraft, are flying coffins. Iran's maintenance, training, and air traffic control are substandard. Flying over and around Iran's lofty mountains is a challenge for the best of pilots, even for a handful of newer ATR turboprop aircraft. Washington's denial to Iran of Boeing aircraft and Airbus planes because they contain U.S.-made parts means the loss of tens of thousands of highly paid jobs in the U.S. and Europe. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claims he talked to Trump into canceling the Iran nuclear deal and the Boeing orders. Yes, can you hold my hand too, Benny? And can I wipe my butt there, Ben? Can I make love to my wife tonight, Benjamin? I'm just being sarcastic, so I'm keep going here. It's hard to validate Netanyahu's claim, but it's clear that America's ever more powerful Israel lobby and its ally fundamentally Christian Zionists play a key role in thwarting the Iran nuclear deal and sale of commercial aircraft. We don't yet know the full cost of the loss of American jobs and businesses to help keep Iran isolated. But one could argue that part of the $20 billion loss should be counted as part of the annual aid to Israel. Ain't that nice? Yeah, I support. Well, I'm against redistribution of wealth, but when it comes to foreign aid to Israel, that's an exception. Russia and China's aircraft industries will soon be able to deliver modern passenger aircraft to Iran and accept payment in oil. China's C-1919 and ARJ-21 are now nearing service. Russia's Sukhoi Superjet 100 will be ready soon. Trump could be cutting off his nose to spite his face. Trump and his allies are trying to push Iran into a corner and provoke it to lash out at U.S. forces that are poised around it. The naval clash in the Gulf is obvious pretext for war. While the U.S. goes after Iran, it had opened a new anti-Muslim front against old ally Turkey by opposing heavy duties of Ankara exports to the U.S. and attacking the always vulnerable Turkish lira. This in turn has set off a financial crisis across Europe, notably among EU banks that have large soft loans made to Turkey. Trump and company are trying to force Turkey to bend the knee and support U.S., Israeli, Saudi policy goals. Turkey and Iran remain the significant supporters in the region of the Palestinians. Trump and the New York City real estate developers and the money men who surround him are determined to show the independent-minded Iranians and Turks who is the boss. As another form of imperialism. That's right. I will make the greatest military, and all you people go, yeah, we love you, Donald. We love you. When I say bend over, you gotta go, how far, please? Yes, Donald, we will do it for anybody. This is how they want you to believe, okay? And he should be focusing more on this and what's going on in Washington, D.C., okay? And worry about NFL players kneeling down, okay? Why? That's more important for you, Donnie boy? Because you want to make yourself the pristine president? Come on. I'm not going to be bashing you on everything, but I'm very critical on what the hell you're doing. Stop being a her-conformist and do what's right. You want to keep the peace? Make it happen with Iran as well. I'm not crazy about their government either. But if you study the 1953 coup attempt, which was declassified by the CIA, it was blowback. Okay, since 1979, because the CIA, the MI5 were meddling in Persia's affairs. And look what happened. Study your history before talking big and tweeting the crap out of people about Iran. To me, that's a waste of energy. And that is it. I thank everyone for listening, but feel free to download and share us throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or you send something interesting you want to check out, whatever you do, please deliver your correspondences with decorum. You hit me on the major social media sites. Just type in Loki Luck number 3. Facebook, Twitter, Google+, iHeartRadio, and all that. And many others. Just type it in on your search engine. You'll find me. In addition, you can email me at LokiLuck3@gmail.com or to encrypted ones. LokiLuck03@protonmail.com. So if you have a Proton Mail account, that'd be awesome. All right, my friends. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.